basically what happened is two tigers were lost in the zoo, and so Sherlock has to help the zookeeper to find them.
As Melissa mentioned, we are working with Dialogue in the Dark to kind of analyze the business structure that they've created as a social enterprise, trying to establish a business to really help people in general communities understand what it is like to face visual impairment. And so this whole process started with us visiting the organization twice and going through their experience, and we kind of wanted to assess how well they're achieving their mission statement, and definitely just go through and offer any bits of advice that we can. And so with that, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Billy.
I'm Gabriel.
Sherson.
I'm Alan.
Sharon. I'm Kirsten.
I'm Andrea.
And so go ahead, Sherson.
Alright. First off, I want to introduce the 5 KPIs we came up with, which were 1, mission fulfillment, tour content, lasting appeal, other experiences, and marketing effectiveness. First off, what mission fulfillment meant to us was whether or not Dialogue in the Dark could or could not fulfill their mission, which was, as Melissa said, sympathy without pity. Empathy without sympathy or pity. Second off, tour content. How comprehensive was the tour? How well did it put its point across to its customers? And also, lasting appeal. How likely were the people to come back? How much of an impression did Dialogue in the Dark place on them? Fourth, other experiences. Would they be willing to try out other themes that were set forth by Dialogue in the Dark, such as Love Tour in the Dark or Dinner in the Dark? Marketing effectiveness. How well was Dialogue in the Dark able to get its message across to its customers? How well did the website or other forms of advertisement work in fulfilling this goal? Okay. As for unfortunately, we were only able to get a limited set of data due to the amount of customers that we were able to survey. Due to the small amount of customers we were able to survey. However, as for customer satisfaction, we scored Dialogue in the Dark out of 5 was rated at an average of 4.4. As for a change of perspective, allowing people to empathize and understand more what it is like to be similar to a person with visual impairment. This scored 5 for every single person that we interviewed. Comprehensiveness. Dialogue in the Dark scored, our Summer in the Dark tour scored 4.2, which is the same as other experiences, which means that admittedly there was some confusion regarding what was going on, especially since at one point a person that we interviewed didn't know what particular sort of tour he was taking. And for future tours, this was rated the lowest, as I feel that many people that took the survey felt that since they had already done the tour, they didn't need further experience of what it was like to be blind. Now, most of the people that came to Dialogue in the Dark with us found out about the experience through word of mouth or social media. And only 16.7% each from reviews or websites actually learned about it through those reviews or websites. What this means is that Dialogue in the Dark has not been able to send its message across to as many people through its website as it has through simple word of mouth.
For mission fulfillment, visitors enjoyed the tour as a unique experience. In fact, it was comprehensive and satisfying. But visitors are unclear to the objective of the tour, which is raise empathy for visually impaired. They felt sympathy instead of empathy. So here are some suggested improvements. We think that the DID should make the objective of the organization more clear on website and advertisement. And they also state purpose at the beginning of the tour. and review and ask the visitors about some questions at the end of the tour. For tour content, after we experienced the tour twice, we felt that the tour was not fluid enough and it's more like separate experiences. After talking with teammates, we noticed certain parts of the tour more effective in Cantonese due to influence speaking in English by the tour guide. For example, for the bedroom, the English tour guide did not explain well the purpose of the bedroom. So here are some suggested improvements. We think that the DA should train tour guides to become more fluent in English and also include more interaction rather than ball games. For example, play a clip from movie rather than song in the film area, so as to let the visitors guess what movie it is from. And also some board games, for example chess. We also think that the tour guide should create story for the transition from different zones, such as, oh, it's lunchtime, let's go to the beach for lunch.
So, as Sherson mentioned, when we interviewed some of the people, they said that they would not be interested in coming back to the tour for a second round. And we had also done the tour twice, and we noticed that the second time was very much similar to the first time. So, some of the suggestions that we had is that you could make the summer theme of the summer tour more evident. So, for example, I don't know if this is possible given the confines of the environment, but you could make the temperature change based on where we are. So when we go inside, it's cooler. When we're outside, it's warmer. You could also play sounds in the background, such as people on the beach, or like birds, or other summer-related sounds during the summer tour. Also, you could maybe brainstorm some more themes so that you could change the themes more often. So instead of just having summer tour and normal tour, you could have maybe every season you have something different. So like a holiday tour for the Christmas season. We think that this would also allow Dialogue in the Dark to be maybe less of a one-time novel experience and maybe more of something that people can do more than once. Maybe they can invite their friends there.
Yeah, that's an excellent point that Alan makes, and definitely one that we consider given some of the one-off experiences that Dialogue in the Dark offers. And so currently I believe those range from things like Meal in the Dark and Concert in the Dark to even Birthday Party in the Dark. So we definitely think those are excellent options and will allow people to have a real unique experience even after spending multiple tours in the dark. And we would somewhat urge the organization to consider offering the concert maybe a few more times. Definitely having it once a year creates somewhat of a novelty to it, but overwhelmingly positive results from reviews online suggest that maybe it would be a good option to expand that. But otherwise, we think doing a great job to make it a very interactive experience, and maybe having a bit more of the tour being off script or something like that would benefit the experience, because I think we all kind of agree that some of the questions asked by the tour guides were similar the first and second times, but otherwise
as Kirsten mentioned from the survey we did earlier, many of the visitors found out about Dialogue in the Dark primarily through word of mouth and social media, little actual advertising on the company's part. So we looked into some of the other divisions of Dialogue in the Dark. This is a franchise organization, and we found potential forms of advertising that you could consider to improve the effectiveness. For example, this is an advertising banner on a newspaper done by the New York Dialogue in the Dark, where it has a quote from Helen Keller: "Walking with a friend in the dark is better than walking alone in the light." And it has a snapshot of the dialogue of the Kings in the Dialogue in the Dark company. So we think even a simple banner like this, and maybe in a magazine or a newspaper, would be greatly effective in improving attendance. We also noticed that we found the website quite difficult to use. compared to the India website, when you first open the website, the first three things you see are very clear: concept, testimonials, and how to book. So right from the bat, just by looking at the website, you already know what the concept of the tour is, what people think about the tour, and if you're interested in those first two things, then you can book a tour. On the other hand, we found that the Hong Kong website, it doesn't have testimonials. Looking at the website, you still don't know what the concept of Dialogue in the Dark is. So we think that maybe hiring a web designer to give the website just a little refurbish would be greatly effective in improving the effectiveness of the marketing.
So our main project is to create a new experience for Dialogue in the Dark. And our group came up with Sherlock in the Dark, which is a detective game where visitors need to go into a room and find out clues in the dark. So that Sherlock in the Dark is actually inspired by Lost Hong Kong, which is also a detective game which is really famous in Hong Kong. So we think that it's a good idea to implement this idea in Dialogue in the Dark. So the purpose of Sherlock in the Dark is to utilize the other four senses. So the sense of smell, sense of taste, sense of hearing, and sense of touch. And this is to create an empathy of a visually impaired. And also we want to tell a message of saying visually impaired person are actually capable to do what normal people can do. So to make it easier for Dialogue in the Dark, we'll make all the settings the same. And we will just do some minor changes, such as put a model of a tiger and also a footprint of tigers to lead the visitors to go to a place where we want them to go. So for Sherlock in the Dark, we made a background story for it. So a devil who stole every human sense of sight, and visitors need to act like Sherlock and go into the dark, overcoming his disability to come across 5 zones and open the secret box to save the world. And the whole process will be 75 minutes. So there will be 5 zones. In 75 minutes, visitors have to find clues and go through it. So for regulations, we think each group will have a maximum of 5 people, and each team will be accompanied by a tour guide, which is visually impaired. And each group will require a digital alarm, which will tell visitors how much time do they have left for each game. And because there is 5 zones, visitors have to go one zone by one zone, so they cannot skip from, for example, zone 1 to zone 3. And this is a general floor plan for Sherlock in the Dark. So there are 5 zones: the zoo, bedroom, street, theater, and the cafe. And as you see, there are some dotted lines on the floor plan. That's the correct path where visitors have to go in order to get out of the room. And Kirsten and Andrea will elaborate more on it.
Yeah, so thank you, Sharon, for telling us the background story of Sherlock in the Dark. And now I will explain in details what would happen in each zone. So for the first zone, it is the zoo zone. So participants have to use their sense of hearing and sense of touch to complete the task inside the zone. So basically what happened is 2 tigers were lost inside the zoo. And so participants have to help the zookeeper to find out the 2 tigers. So firstly, participants will hear a conversation to describe the features of the tigers. And then participants can find more clues by using sense of touch. For example, from the floor plan, we can see some footprints of the tigers on the ground. And also, participants can hear the sound of tigers using their sense of hearing. And then when they follow the footprints and then go across the bridge, then they can find the tiger over there. So after finding the tigers, the participants can find out the key for getting to the next zone, because actually the key is tied around the tiger's neck, and so they can find them. Moreover, to make the zoo zone become more zoo-like, we suggest that some mist can be released, and also temperature and humidity can also be raised. Yeah, so now it comes to the second zone. So after using the key from the tigers, participants can go to the second zone, and that's the bedroom. So after going to the bedroom, participants will receive a phone call from Sherlock's partner and telling them they have to go to the street. And so Sherlock has to find out the password for unlocking another door to go to the third zone. And of course, password is needed for unlocking the door. And so from the floor plan, we can see that there is a table in the middle. There's a bed, There's a bed in the middle, and then the letter is on the bed. And actually, participants can find out the password from the letter. To be more accurate, participants need to use their sense of touch, because the password is actually some textured numbers, and yeah, they have to fill them. And actually, we have prepared the password here. Yeah, and so maybe now, yeah.
Maybe you could come over. So this, maybe let me invite. This is let me just introduce. This is Daniel, and this is Julian. So they are both the facilitators in Dialogue in the Dark, and then Alex is the manager.
So may we invite Julian to try to figure out the password? Yeah, numbers.
Only numbers.
Yeah, numbers.
Just 1, 2,
Yeah.
7, 5.
Yeah, correct. So congratulations. So now we are on the third zone, and that's on the streets. So participants have to find out the devil from bakery, and so sense of hearing and sense of smell is needed, as the participants have to cross the road to the bakery, and they also have to smell the scent of the bread in order to go to the bakery. And from the bakery, participants have to buy the correct items, for example, some food and drinks, in order to satisfy the devil. So sense of smell and sense of taste are also needed. Yeah, and here on the table, we have prepared some drinks. Yeah, so participants have to taste the drinks and to name out all the drinks correctly. So maybe now invite Daniel, yeah, to try to name out the drink.
Anyways, let's see how we win the race.
Yeah, that's right.
See how many.
Sorry, I can't smell anything.
No, you can
Drink.
Because
It's a drinking.
Oh, drink. Tasting.
你可以飲下就講下係乜嘢咁樣。
覺得係因為我問到
We don't know.
A little bit not very sweet.
Enough.
You want to try?
Why some?
Try masala.
Let me smell it. Oh. Is this a kind of fruit?
Yes, yeah.
Strawberry?
Wait.
It's also red. Would you like to try? They have like a lot of
Vanilla?
You can
I'll
taste
see
it.
I know it.
Mm.
試下你。
你話俾佢，你講俾佢聽係咩？
呢個係補湯嚟嘅。
哦
你俾個
，OK。
易啲。
哦，有啱先過嘅。
啱嗰個係綠茶，蘋果綠茶。
反正我食過嘅。The first one is
第一個係蘋果綠茶，你飲嗰個係蘋果綠茶。
可能 OK，我知啦。OK。 you.
So this is the third task in the third zone. Moving on to the fourth zone. The fourth zone is the theater. Participants are led to the fourth zone with the sense of hearing. Depending on the group, for example, if the group likes Beyonce, we would play like single ladies at the theater. So the group can use their sense of hearing, be guided into the theater. And in the theater, they attempt to find the devil because it's rumored that the devil likes Beyonce. So they go around the theater to find the devil, but the devil is actually not in the theater. So when the participants attempt to escape the zone, they're told they actually have to re-sing a verse of the song before they're allowed to leave. So through team working and collaboration, they'll have to work out how to re-sing that verse of the song. And when the guide agrees that the group successfully sings the song, they are allowed to move on to the fifth zone, which is the cafe. The cafe is the last zone in this experience. The participants are guided towards a counter where they meet the devil, and the devil tells the participants to identify a row of fruits before them. So they have to use the sense of touch and smell because these are real fruits. When the participants correctly identify each fruit, they are allowed to escape, and the leader, the visual impaired guide who is accompanying the group, will reveal himself as the angel and guide the group to the light. This is a summary of all of the tasks yeah.
咁呢一頁咧就係我哋啱啱所講嘅所有房會發生啲咩事嘅一個概要啦。咁講咗咧每一間房裏面我哋會用啲咩感官，咁亦都有啲咩主要嘅task 啦，同埋佢哋要用啲咩道具。咁喺道具嗰一欄嗰度，我哋都可以見到咧，其實呢啲道具都係好容易去準備嘅。咁所以喺實施呢一個Sherlock in the Dark 咧，其實都係非常之簡單啦。例如話喺第一個動物園嗰度，咁只需要咧係買一啲毛公仔啊，同埋一啲嘅鎖匙啊，咁樣就得啦。咁同埋例如話有啲食物啊、飲品啊、生果咁樣，咁所以係好容易去實行嘅。So we think that Sherlock in the Dark is better than the existing experience because firstly, a lot of teamwork and collaboration is needed for the game in order to solve different mysteries and to complete different tasks. And secondly, Sherlock in the Dark also provides more opportunities for participants to use different senses. For example, because in the existing experience, like the sense of smell or sense of touch are not really have a lot of opportunities to use them. While in the Sherlock in the Dark, all senses are needed in order to complete the task. Also, lastly, this game can stimulate the daily challenges. For example, in the third zone, for the street zone, participants can experience visually impaired how they can cross the road or go to different shops even without their sense of sight.
If this experience is successful, Dialogue in the Dark is encouraged to implement it into their daily schedules, like the Summer in the Dark right now. This can be easily modified. As mentioned above, it requires the same setting, so maybe just changing the variety of the drinks or the music. If participants come for the second time, they can experience a whole new experience, so this will also maintain like customer retention. Is there any questions about Sherlock in the Dark? No. Okay. So we'll also have a few ideas that Dialogue in the Dark can adopt. One of our ideas is speed dating in the dark. This is a very exotic new experience for people to meet others. Because it's in the dark, it avoids visual preconceptions and it like reduces biases based on visual appearances. This is very unique because it's the only speed dating event in the dark in Hong Kong, so this will attract like many new visitors and locals to come. And just attract people to come and know about Dialogue in the Dark.
One other idea that we developed on is Classroom in the Dark, which would be done in student groups. It would provide the opportunity for people to experience what it's like for the visually impaired to have to perform daily tasks. For example, reading and writing. So first we would have the First we'd have the visitors attempt to perform the task on their own, and then we would have them use the techniques that a visually impaired person might use. For example, for reading and writing, you could use Braille or maybe a typewriter or something that can speak out words for you. We would also want to try to implement other classes such as art and music, which you might think would be very difficult without use of your sense of sight. For example, visual art. However, there are blind artists who have used techniques such as being able to feel the grooves on a piece of paper and thereby using those to create your contours and lines. You could also use something such as acrylic paint, since that has a texture and you can create shapes by feeling it.
So without further ado, based on the information we've given so far, can I open the floor to any questions?
Okay, may I ask? So it's about dating in the dark. Yeah, I realize it can be a very good potential opportunity for us. That's true. And I'm wondering, have any of us thought about how we recruit the participants and through what channel? Through what channel? So yeah, I'm thinking. So please join me. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, as is the case with anything else, marketing is huge. So we think, if you guys are willing to put some effort into maybe revamping the website, that it could be a good way to get the word out. But also, having word of mouth and social media at your disposal has been very helpful so far. So I think just in the same way that you're able to get people to come to Concert in the Dark or Meal in the Dark currently, you'd be able to recruit people for this. Now, I, for one, know that it would be difficult to draw the same number of people, because it's definitely a very